Today is April 15, 2026, giving you guys your daily RE3 news. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room, and that is, why does it say day 401 and not day 400? Well, because the problem results to me. So on day 387 was my April Fool's joke video, and then I typed 387 again for my cannot report videos while I was on vacation, and it was supposed to say 388, not 387 again. But yeah, that's what I wanted to address. I deeply apologize for ruining the day 400 number. Or record, you guys know the drill. Every 100 day, I'm going to post a compilation of news that we have gotten so far from day 301 to day 399. With all that being said, hope you guys enjoy. With the tweet being made by Xbox is saying that it's officially Developer Direct season. Join us on January 22 at 10 a.m. PT for an exclusive look at Fable, Forza Horizon 6, and Beast of Reincarnation. With that tweet being made, there are now rumors of the Xbox games going to PS5, that being Avowed, Towerborn, South of Midnight, which has been announced to go to PlayStation back in the Game Awards of 2025, Halo Campaign Evolved, that was also announced in the showcase that is related to Halo back last year, Call of Duty 2026, I don't know what game this is, apparently this is an Xbox exclusive that is also coming to PS5, Forza Horizon 6, and the rumored they are going to PS5 are Starfield, Gears of War E-Day, and Fable is also potentially going to PS5. Now, with all that being said, of those that are confirmed that are going to PS5 and those that are also rumored to also be going to PS5 as well, does this mean that the Ori series can also be ported to the PS5 when the Xbox Developer Direct starts being broadcasted on January 22nd? We're gonna have to wait and see until we find out. With the article being made by VGC, it says the Developer Direct will feature a secret fourth game update. VGC understands the fourth title is a smaller scale original game from an Xbox studio. The upcoming Xbox Developer Direct will feature a currently unannounced fourth game. The digital event will stream on Thursday, January 22 at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. UK, and include new looks at Forza Horizon 6, Fable, and the new game from the Pokemon developers Game Freak, Beast of Reincarnation. Now, it's claimed that the show won't only feature those three games, according to Shinobi602, who has a history of reporting confidential information about upcoming games. The show will feature a quote-unquote secret fourth game. VGC can corroborate this and understand that the fourth game is a smaller scale original game from one of Xbox Game Studios' first-party developers. The fourth title will round off an event mainly focused on Xbox's big first-party games planned for 2026. Forza Horizon 6, which was announced last year and will take place in Japan, will be released on Xbox and PC before eventually coming to PlayStation 5. And these are the texts that are related to Shinobi602's claim that there's going to be a secret fourth game to the upcoming Xbox Developer Direct. Now, could this possibly lead to the assumption for Ori 3? We honestly don't know. There's only 2 days left before the Xbox Developer Direct becomes live, so we'll have to wait and see. And that's pretty much it for today's news. I don't know if we're going to get a potential Ori 3 teaser or a Ori PlayStation port trailer. We really can't predict what's going to be on the showcase, so we'll have to wait and see tomorrow. Where if you go to Steam right now, instead of paying for $20, you get to pay it for $5, which is currently at 75% off. And if you wanted to get the second game, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, instead of paying for $30, you could pay it for $9.89 with a 67% discount. But if you wanted to get the collection, you can pay it for $13.39 with a 70% off deal, where instead of paying $45. And you can also purchase for the original soundtrack for Ori and the Blind Forest for $2.49 instead of the $10 with the 75% off discount, including the additional soundtrack for free. And you can purchase the soundtrack for Ori and the Will of the Wisps, where instead of paying $15, you could pay $4.94 with the 67% discount. From the official Nerds for the Wicked Twitter account, they said, "Hey folks, we're rolling out our upcoming co-op update soon. To celebrate it with our community, Twitch drops will be active alongside it. From January 22 to the 30th, watch eligible Twitch streams, earn in-game rewards, and redeem them via Captain Randolph inside your realm. Co-op, persistent realms, and rewards you keep. More details here with northforthewicked.com/Twitch drops links. Creators can reach us at press@moongamestudios.com. And the task is pretty simple. If you watch somebody play Nurse for the Wicked for 120 minutes, that being 2 hours, from the 22nd to the 26th of January, you get to have the Songkeeper collectible, which is Ori holding Sin, with a picture of Naru. And if you watch somebody play Nurse for the Wicked from the 26th to the 30th of January for 90 minutes, that being an hour and 30 minutes, you get to have the Champion statue collectible, worth the twist drop. It all started when Friendly Aaron made this tweet: "I am losing faith in Red Dead Redemption 2 Enhanced. I'm starting to think Nathan Hate's source and every other outlet that corroborated just got Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Redemption 1 mixed up, considering the fact that internally Red Dead Redemption 1 is called Red Dead Redemption 2. Juicer added Nate the Hate, saying, "Opinions?" He said it was not confused for the Red Dead Redemption 1. And then Jojo PS971 says, "Hello there, is a state of play in February?" He responded by saying, "There will be, yes." Razor added Nate the Hate again, saying, "Nate, we all know there's going to be a state of play because it's usually like that. The question is, will it be at the beginning of February or at the end?" He responded by saying first half, then Razor replied again by saying thank you, so probably 11 or 12th of February or 18 to the 19th of February. And then he gave us the confirmed release date, February 12th. So with this presumably being the date for the PlayStation State of Play, will we finally see the PlayStation port for the Ori series? Well, we're gonna have to wait for the next 17 days to hope that our wishes come true. With the article being made by Polygon, it says Xbox clears up its stance on PS5 versions on day one up to a point. Microsoft is aiming to be more consistent, says wait for Forza Horizon 6 is a development issue. During last week's Developer Direct showcase, Microsoft revealed that Playground Games Fable will be released on PS5 at the same time as on Windows PC and Xbox Series X this fall. Playground Games Forza Horizon 6, however, will not. The racing game sequel will come out on PC and Xbox on May 19th, but the PS5 version will arrive later in 2026. It was a similar story last year. Obsidian Entertainment's Avowed, released in February, is still waiting its PS5 version, while Obsidian Entertainment's The Outer Worlds 2 saw a day-and-date multi-platform release in October. In 2025, however, Microsoft multi-platform release strategy was relatively new, and it was understandable that its development studios might be playing catch-up. This year, that's less true. What is Microsoft's multi-platform strategy exactly? Why are PS5 versions of same games held back but not others? Is timed Xbox console exclusivity still a thing in some cases? In an interview with Games Radar, Xbox exec Craig Duncan answered these questions up to a point. Duncan is the head of Xbox Game Studios, a development and publishing group that includes Playground, Obsidian, Halo Studios, Rare, and many others, but does not include Bethesda or Activision Blizzard teams. Duncan insisted that Xbox Game Studios will continue to make platform publishing decisions on a case-by-case basis. But he also said that Xbox would try to be quote-unquote more consistent with its PS5 release strategy, and suggested that the extra wait for Forza Horizon 6 was a development issue rather than a strategic move. Reading between these lines of his answers, it does seem that day one PS5 releases are the rule, though there will be exceptions. Quote, "There's always development realities about when these projects start, how a big team is, and what plans we have at the start of development," Duncan said. "When a strategy changes, maybe you've got a plan that exists with a game and maybe you can adapt that, maybe you can't. And to be clear, this is totally fair feedback. Sometimes we are inconsistent. You see some games in one place, some games in multiple places. Just know that we're going to work on that and we're going to try and be more consistent with what we do." Duncan said that addressing the largest possible audience is always a primary concern. Quote, "That's always our goal," he said. "It's rarely more complicated than that." But he also stressed that releasing the best possible version of a game for a platform would always take priority over making a day and date release. Whenever our games show up, we want them to show up and be the best they can be for that platform, he said. If we're only in a position to release a game on a platform and not have it show up really well, then I think we wouldn't do that. Not everything is limitless. In short, it sounds as though the PS5 version of Forza Horizon 6 will simply not be ready for release on May 19th, and that the Forza team, unlike the Fable team, did not have the available resources or enough planning right away to make sure that it was. Naturally, allocating those resources is a business decision that will be influenced by many factors, one of which may be that Forza Horizon 5 was only released on PS5 9 months ago and has been selling just fine. But according to Duncan, reaching as many players as possible is the #1 priority for Microsoft, and delaying a game on any platform is a decision that will only be made for the game's own sake. In other words, Xbox console exclusivity for its own sake is really a thing of the past. So if this article being posted and the confirmed date for the PlayStation State of Play that's going to be in February 12th of this year, does this mean that we'll finally get to see a Ori PlayStation port for both games, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps? For now, we're going to have to wait and see, and we currently have exactly 2 weeks before the PlayStation State of Play is live. With the tweet being made by the official Ori the Game Twitter account saying the amazing BAFTA Games in concert featuring music from Ori and the Will of the Wisps kicked off this last Saturday, but it's not too late to go see it. There are still 6 more days coming up later this year. Click the link below to check it out. The link to that is going to be in the description for you guys to be able to join. After Thomas Mandler checking out the tech demo for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, he made this tweet. One of the crazier ideas for a potential Ori continuation at some point was inspired by this here, which is the link to the tech demo. I always love the idea we get to play Spirit Tree, where the whole game revolves around maneuvering as a little tree within a desolate environment that you bring to life again bit by bit. Think Katamari but with a Ghibli twist. I think there's something deeply satisfying in allowing players to change the environment they're in and to basically flip the Metroidvania design on its head a bit. Instead of just giving the player more power, it's often even more satisfying if you're empowering the environment itself, as in at first you start in a desolate forest and can't cross certain gaps until you bring life back and make the waters flow again, so that you can then cross ravines that are now filled with water, etc. There is a hike trail in Austria where the ice from the mountains melt every summer, flooding the forest with water, where you can then scuba dive to where people just a few months ago, where walking around sitting on benches is quite magical and otherworldly. With the link being shown here, and video games being video games, you could elevate that kind of experience and bring it to everybody. A lot of the video games that have become widely successful are about core human instincts, hunting and gathering, farming and collecting, etc. I think the farming and gardening concept hasn't really been fully explored yet. It could potentially lead to a whole new genre that could take off exactly because it's so core to the human experience. And also I want to inform that sadly I am aware about the Will of the Wisps ending from Twitter, from Discord, before Thomas Mandler posted this tweet in the first place. But with all that aside, we finally have news that is related to Ori 3 after months and months of my previous report back last year. This is my first time ever seeing a canon event and a canon ending in the Ori cinematic universe. And with the PlayStation State of Play just days away, could we see a Ori PlayStation port? We'll have to wait and see. The showcase is going to be 60 minutes long with news, gameplay updates, and announcements from game studios across the globe. And it's going to start at 2 p.m. PT, 5 p.m. ET, and 11 p.m. CET. Now with the PlayStation State of Play that's going to be live tomorrow, does that mean that we'll finally get a PlayStation port of the Ori series? Let's hold hands, pray, and hope that it'll be announced tomorrow. Starfield is officially on PlayStation. Now, does this mean that we'll get an Ori PlayStation port later in the future? At this point, I really don't know. Xbox just announced that there's going to be a Xbox Game Showcase on Sunday, June 7th with a Gears of War E-Day Direct as well. Now, does this mean that we'll get any update of Ori going to PlayStation or any talk of Moon Studios being mentioned? We really don't know. We have to wait and see. Being reported by TCMF Games, State of Play April 16. Leaker Nate the Hate states that a State of Play is potentially set for April 16. This State of Play is likely focused on third party. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake is also said to be revealed around the same time, so it could be there. Now we have the date, but the rumored time for it to be live is 2 p.m. PST, 5 p.m. EST, and 11 p.m. CEST. Now with this rumored date being said by the known leaker Nate the Hate, does this mean that we'll get to see the Ori PlayStation port finally after 2 years when the Xbox business update has become abroad? Well, we're gonna have to wait for the leaked dates and find out. This person going by the name of Music Orphan says, do you still feel as strongly about games losing exclusivity being the path to success? Thomas Mandler responds to this by saying, of course, what does a developer gain from being exclusive to a particular console? What does the gaming community at large gain from that? Nothing really. You just ensure that only a fraction of your potential audience can now play your game. I understand that tricks like that make a lot of sense if you're trying to sell hardware, since you're gatekeeping good content, and so you're essentially forcing people into buying your hardware. But my argument will still be, if that's what you have to do to get people to buy your hardware, maybe your hardware isn't unique / interesting enough by itself. For example, I pitched a controller concept to Microsoft a while ago that allowed people to play first-person shooter games in a much more intuitive way than the current thing of using the right analog stick to aim, which is historically a pretty bad way to aim. I mean, mouse aim still beats that way of input, even though a mouse was never designed for first-person shooter games in the first place, so that should tell us something. So if you get something like that, like, quote, if I buy this box as a fan of first-person shooter games to control way more intuitively than on any of these other boxes, that make purchase that box instead of another. I think on the hardware side, we need to see more of that. More of a, quote, oh, I'll buy that box because it plays my games better and the games are more fun on it. Instead of, oh, I'll buy that box because it's the only box that allows me to play X or Y game. That's why Nintendo used to completely design their consoles around the new input device they came up with, because they historically understood that the control design is arguably even more important than the box itself, since it defines how you interact with the games on the platform in the first place. Point being, if gatekeeping is the only way you see to sell your hardware simply isn't enticing enough. Now, even though by technicality this isn't really news, given the sense that this is Thomas Mandler's opinion when it comes to console exclusivity, when it comes to PlayStation and Xbox games, he really has a point. When it comes to the PlayStation fans like myself that want Ori to go to PlayStation, it's honestly a waste of money when you have to buy a certain console just to play the said game instead of letting it become more available so that other people can play it. Everybody else has their different preference to play the games of these said buttons that they like pressing. Now, even though I'm not trying to be like a theorist in the sense that Thomas Mandler has said this take without any coincidence, does this give a hint that Ori is going to be ported to PlayStation with the upcoming PlayStation State of Play that is rumored to come on April 16th? We honestly don't know. However, we'll have to wait and see. And that is going to conclude for our daily Ori 3 news. If you guys did enjoy this episode of this 400-day special, or late 400-day special, I should say, for one day, I deeply apologize once again. If you guys want to send your own submission, send it to me on my Discord and you'll be featured on our next episode. As of me recording this video, there hasn't been an update about the leaked PlayStation State of Play that is supposed to be live tomorrow. I've looked up on the tweets, I checked on Reddit, I checked on YouTube. So far, there's nothing. I will keep you guys updated. There'll probably be a bonus video tomorrow or later in the night. I don't know. That's gonna be it, and I'll be seeing you all next time.